Good evening, Oakland Park. My name is Desiree. I'm the editor of livinginoaklandpark.com and also a local realtor here in the area. And tonight I'm super excited to speak with two Pulte representatives, Bridget Shelko and Jeremy Needleman. They're going to be
Hello.
telling us all about the Oaktree development here on the west end of Oakland Park. Welcome, Bridget. Welcome, Jeremy. Thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thank you,
Desiree. I appreciate you having us.
My pleasure. I know we're all excited about hearing about Oaktree and other developments that Pulte has going on. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the questions. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about the developer itself, about Pulte Homes and their history building homes?
Absolutely. You know, Pulte has been building homes for a long time. We started back in the 1950s. Bill Pulte is our founder. He built his first home as a teenager in Detroit, Michigan. And, you know, he ran the business until about 10 years ago. And it has been a key part of who we are, our culture, our quality, all from our founder. And to this point, he's grown the business into 44 markets across the company.
Wow.
So we're in 23 states with 4 divisions just here in Florida. So Florida is a really big part of our business.
Oh, wow. So when exactly did Pulte come into Florida?
You know, that is a great question, Desiree, and I will preface this with the fact that I'm a new Floridian myself.
Okay.
I've only lived here a few months, and so, you know, I know that Pulte's been here for a long time. In fact, our CEO, Ryan Marshall, was once the division president for Florida division, you know, back around 7-8 years ago. So I think we've been here at least a couple of decades, and a lot of people in Florida are familiar with Devasta. So Devasta was its own builder, and then is now under the Pulte umbrella. So if you factor in Devasta homes and Pulte homes, you know, we've been here several decades.
And Centex too. A lot of people who live in Broward County, particularly West End, are very familiar with Centex. Pulte acquired Centex back in the late 90s, and Centex had a huge position here in South Florida. So collectively, really, since the early 90s, Pulte has had a footprint in Southeast Florida.
Okay, very interesting. I did notice that when I did research on the company that there was all these different brands associated. And that's when I realized the magnitude of what Pulte does, you know, how much they do. And just under the Pulte brand itself, I want to say there's at least 10 different projects that I know of, like in Florida, at least that many. But we're only going to talk about the ones in South Florida.
Yeah, you know, that's our main primary focus. You know, I'm the VP of sales. Jeremy is the general sales manager. Jeremy handles most of our South Florida community. So everything that your viewers probably care the most about right now, Jeremy is over those communities and does a fantastic job with very, very busy communities. Our stores in South Florida, Hillcrest and Oaktree and Woodmont, you know, even Boca Flores, they all are busiest stores, and the team does a really nice job of helping customers navigate their biggest purchase.
Wonderful. So since you talked about South Florida being the hotspot, can you talk to us a little bit about the projects that you have specifically here? You mentioned Woodmont, which is just west of us, and then Hillcrest, and then Oaktree is one of the newer ones. And as I mentioned, I'm dying to hear about Cassia Estates. So I'll let you take it from here and tell us all about them.
Sure.
Okay, I'll give you an overview, and then I'll toss it over to Jeremy for a couple details on them, because he's living it day to day. I'm doing a lot more of the strategy here in the main office, but as we are saying, here we grow again. We are highly focused on startup communities. You know, there's a real demand in the market right now for new homes in Broward County, Palm Beach County, Martin County, Indian River County. I mean, we have new communities coming from Vero all the way to, you know, Oakland Park. And we are very excited about bringing on about 6 new communities in the next 12 months to go along with everything that we currently have. And really, you know, the interest level at Oaktree has just given us the utmost confidence that there is high demand to be in that area, and there's nothing like it. And Jeremy can speak a little more specifically about his communities.
Yeah, absolutely. So our Broward County journey, you know, really has taken shape tremendously over the last 6 to 7 years. And it started when we really acquired Hillcrest Country Club. Now, that's a community that we closed on that land in 2015. We opened for sales in early 2017 with 645 homes, townhomes and single family homes. And here we are in late 2020, and we only have about 70 homes left for sale. And what we've understood is that Broward County is a really underserved market as it relates to new construction. You know, millions of residents, and there's only about 1,800 new construction homes that get built every year in Broward County. So there's a great opportunity for a builder like us that has a good infrastructure, has the ability to get homes permitted and built and provide a great service to the general public. And we've been able to deliver on that. Now, as we've grown bigger and with success at Hillcrest, it's given us an opportunity to be able to purchase more land, which we're very thankful for because it gives us an opportunity to do what we do. Oaktree was an amazing opportunity, and this was a unique community for us because it's available in Broward County, and it's also one of the only pieces of land that had sort of a full section of land that was not interrupted by single family homes. So it was just golf course, which gave us an opportunity to really uniquely change the landscape. Where if you're familiar with Hillcrest, you have a lot of high-rise buildings that are all kind of mixed out through the community, and we sort of worked our way around it. Oaktree gave us a phenomenal opportunity to completely develop the land as we saw fit. And I think what you're seeing and what people are seeing in Oaktree is just this really majestic community. This is the biggest community in terms of investment and the entrance and the amenity that we've ever done. And we're hoping that this is going to be kind of our flagship community for years to come.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. We didn't know that we would be a flagship, but here we are.
You know, they say that
the gem at one point, you know, when I first moved here, it was instantly so much attention on Oaktree from both consumers and our own team that in my mind, it instantly became the gem.
Very interesting.
What we loved about Oakland Park is it's so close to great centers of commerce, such close proximity to both major highway systems, so really easy access to the Turnpike and 95, airports close by. So when you think about the major drivers of why people buy homes, it's generally speaking commutability to their work, to places of worship, to educational opportunities, and Oaktree and Oakland Park broadly, you know, kind of blends all of that really, really well. So, you know, they say that demographics are destiny, and Oakland Park was sort of the right place at the right time because it's just close to everything that you want to have.
Absolutely. And there's a lot going on here in the city because there's a stadium right next to the airport too, which we haven't been able to really use because of the pandemic, but I'm sure that that's going to generate even more interest once that's up and running. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, since we're talking about Oaktree, you opened up for sales at the end of August, and you mentioned that those sales were going really well. So what I'm interested in is, can you explain to us how you determine the pricing for that community?
Sure. Yeah, I imagine, you know, you being in real estate, you know, I imagine it's sort of the same way that you go on a listing presentation and sort of price out the home. It's a little bit of an art and a science, right? So we're taking not only, you know, our own internal data as to what our market intelligence teams are telling us that they think homes can be sold for, but we're also studying the area, we're studying market trends and trying to arrive at what we feel is the best possible outcome. And, you know, and what we find as well too is that we have the ability to be flexible because we are a large company and we have a lot of people who, you know, work really hard and bring their best every day. You know, we have the ability to be nimble and adapt based on what the buyers want. So I think what you're seeing is a evolution, and over time, as we continue to grow and as we continue to build this community, you'll start to see different pricing appreciation, which is only going to pay dividends for your buyers that are getting in early.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of that, I think it's important because a lot of people, when they approach the new construction development, they don't understand that there's like 3 parts to the pricing. So there's the base price of the house, the lot premium, and then any structural and design options. So I want to focus on the middle one, the lot premiums. How are those determined? How do you come up with those and then add those to the base price? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. You know, so imagine, if you will, a new community, and you think about a big home site map. And if we were to say that, okay, every single home site here is $0, and you ask, you know, what would be where would you want to live? Where would you want to build your house? And pretty automatically, people select your big pie-shaped lots, your big water views, your corner home sites. So by having lot premiums, it allows us to present a lot of different home sites, and we work very hard when we develop our site plans to offer very unique site locations. So whether your end game is waterfront, whether you really need a south-facing exposure, whether you love to face nature, we try to get a good blend of all of that when we develop our plans and price the lot premiums accordingly.
Okay.
And then what I'll add to that, Desiree, is, early on, before we even purchase the land, we go through a really extensive feasibility process up front. We have to sell our own company on, that piece of property and why we love it and what we can sell the homes for. And, our goal with Oaktree was to provide a variety of homes between the townhomes and single family homes, and really tried to cast as broad of a net as possible. And we try to do that same thing with our home sites. Some people just want to get in the neighborhood and they have no problem if they back to another home, whereas other people, maybe they value more having nobody directly behind them. So all of those things weigh into what would be our average lot premium. And then, you're always going to have, okay, the people who come in and I want the best, and if you want the best, you're going to pay for the best, just like when you go shopping at the store, right? So it's a similar concept, but we've had lot premiums as low as $5,000 at Oaktree. So we have, tried to provide a very fair price with the supply and demand in a very hot market.
Okay, thank you for that. Makes it a little easier to understand. Speaking of the models, when you come, I know initially the project was set for 800 homes, right? And then it got cut down to 405 homes. How do you choose which model go into a certain development? Because I know that there's a model at Woodmont that's not available at Oaktree, and then there's some at Hillcrest that are not at Oaktree, and the ones at Cassia Estates have nothing to do with Oaktree. So how does that get decided?
Yeah, it's a great question. And really, I would say that the people who are listening to this now help us decide. We do a lot of consumer research ahead of time. Just today, as an example, I was reviewing survey results of an upcoming project we have next year in Port St. Lucie. And we surveyed our lead bank on that area and what was important to them in a home, whether amenities were important, whether a gate was important, if they would consider a 2-story townhome, if it's their primary residence, what's their current living situation. So all of those things really help us position our homes to provide what people are telling us they want. And a lot of it is just repetition, because Pulte's been around since 1950. We have evolved our process on our development of new startup communities. And we don't always nail it. I mean, just like anybody, we're putting our best foot forward, but sometimes we put a floor plan out there that doesn't do well. Sometimes we leave extra home sites next to the model park in case we need to add more models, or the market shifts to wanting larger or smaller homes. So I think it's really important to, gather all of the information, roll out with your best-selling plans, and then we're very data-based. So I am constantly looking at what are our best-selling plans in any given month, in any given year. And then, you always want to then redo it, right? So if you're doing it right, don't try to fix something that doesn't need fixing. Just repeat and listen to your consumers. And I think if you're listening to your consumers, you'll always be headed in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, so to that point, part of our process as well is, we throw around terms like consumer inspired and life tested, but we actually back that up. So to Bridget's point about reaching out to consumers, when we sell homes, we're reaching out to our buyers at 1 year and 2 year intervals to ask them how they're enjoying living their homes. But we're also asking questions, would you change the floor plan? If you could have done it all over again, what would you do differently? We take that research and we oftentimes put that into our new homes. So when you had mentioned earlier about Woodmont, and for example, Woodmont has the Summerwood floor plan where Oaktree offers the Mystique. The Mystique is sort of the next generation of the Summerwood. We took the Summerwood, which is our most popular floor plan pretty much in the entire state of Florida, and we made it even better. So it gives us an opportunity by listening to consumer feedback to constantly improve and make our plans better.
Okay. So you're not stuck on one specific floor plan. It's constantly evolving for the needs of
Always.
people. I read
Yeah, absolutely.
about that, where the homes were becoming, they were being made for people to work at home. Is there anything specific that you could point out, like a recent change in those models about that work at home idea? I thought that was very interesting because especially under COVID, we're all at home
Yeah.
now.
I mean, absolutely. The company jumped right on, the what people want next in a home. And we're finding that it's a lot of things we already offer in our homes. As an example, oversized pantries. Nobody has ever told us, hey, that pantry is too big. Everybody wants more storage. And so, that space under the stairs, can that space under the stairs be developed to let my, 5-year-old sit there on their screen and do homeschool? And so, we have lots of things that are already in our models that, like quartz countertops. In many of our communities, quartz countertops are included, but a lot of people don't know those are antimicrobial. So, it's some of that just marketing the things we're already doing. But we also found some opportunities to improve. When we researched people going through this year, what do you want most in the next home? The number one thing they told us, the top improvement they want in their next home is enhanced Wi-Fi. There's so many people who are now at the same time, trying to work or homeschool or play or entertain from home, and the Wi-Fi is not strong enough. And, we build a smart home technology, but trying to even take that up a notch. Number 2 was the oversized pantry. Number 3 was outdoor living. If people not going out as much, they want to bring the entertainment into their home. And if they are going to have neighbors over, they want to sit out back. So that was the third thing. And then larger bedrooms, so that your teenage son or teenage daughter, can have a nice desk at home in their own room with, a queen size bed. And then tandem garage, garage space was the 5th top score on what people wanted in their next home. And not necessarily for 3 cars, but to multi-purpose that space and put a workout room in there or additional kind of Costco storage type of area. And really, those findings did not surprise us, but it was really nice to have that validated as we go into future innovation.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
The other thing that we've heard a lot of too is home gyms, right? So it's how do we make space for the Pelotons and the treadmills, and people are asking for it. So I think, because we're a company that's going to continue to listen to our consumers, we're going to continue to evolve, and you'll see that more and more as we develop our models.
Okay. And I have seen, because I've gone to the models a few different times, some of the things that you've mentioned. So I can see that the transformation is already on its way. So if you don't mind, I want to rewind back to the pricing. Being a realtor, being on the ground, there was some people that were like, here, take my check, and then there was other people that were a little bit of sticker shock. And we started to see the prices go up. So tell us about the sales at Oaktree, and if the pricing is substantiated by the sales, and what we might be able to expect moving forward.
Sure. So I think there's a couple of key points. So first and foremost, kind of top line numbers. Overall sales, we've sold 47 homes since we've started taking contracts. 13 have been townhomes and 34 have been single family homes. So I think that's pretty key to understand that in just about a 4-month window, or maybe a little bit less than that, we've sold 47 homes, which kind of speaks to the demand for new housing right now. Before we actually started sales, we had a list of 3,800 people who had expressed interest in the community. So we knew that we had a really robust interest list. So the question was, not so much if we're going to release, it's really a matter of when, and how do we do so in a way that is sensitive to these pandemic times we're living in? Can we do it in a safe way, which, we seem to have figured out. When you kind of ask about pricing, I think there's a couple things that go into that. First and foremost is supply and demand. There's clearly some demand, and we've identified that we are definitely a attractive option in this marketplace. Overall supply, when you look at the broader Fort Lauderdale market, they say that in any given market, 6 months of supply is equilibrium. In the broader Fort Lauderdale market, you're seeing less than 4 months of supply. In Oakland Park, you're seeing less than 2 months of supply, which suggests that we are in a seller's market. And then you sort of compound the fact that when you look at the sales prices year to date, Oakland Park alone is up about 8%. So when you look at our homes, sure, there is some sticker shock, but when you look at the actual percentages, our townhomes are up about 5%, where our single family homes are up about 7 to 8%. When you consider Oakland Park alone, not even broader Fort Lauderdale, that kind of matches with what's going on in the area. Now in the greater Fort Lauderdale area, where we draw a lot of our buyers from, they're coming from Fort Lauderdale, from Weston, from Wilton Manors. Prices are up in Fort Lauderdale 21.5% year to date. So we are not even close to that. We want to make sure that we're priced attractively for the market. We've got 400 or 360 more homes to sell, and we're going to continue to evolve as we go. But what I would share is that this is, if you're looking for something new in Broward County, we are one of the only great opportunities available. You know, there's just not a lot of land to build on, and we feel like Oaktree is the best of the bunch.
Okay. Bridget, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy really just nailed it with his remarks on that. And I would just add to that, one of the reasons that we did roll out with both townhomes and single family homes is to try to have a little bit of something for everybody. You can still get into Oaktree, you know, starting at $360 for base pricing on a townhome. One thing that surprised us at Oaktree, frankly, when we're looking at where we think, what product we think, what series we think will do the best, is that when we opened in August, we had the most demand in our largest homes, which we do not have the most home sites for our largest homes. We did not anticipate that kind of demand, where people were trying to get the most possible square footage that they could. And so that is where we have chosen to be the most aggressive in our pricing there, because, you know, we only have roughly 80 home sites, and we have 6 left as of today for, you know, that until we get into our next phase. So some of that was a reaction to customer preference and our lot supply.
I was there, and it was incredible to see how they just got whipped up so quickly, you know, and you see the little green dots on the map, and then those are all taken. So
Yeah.
it was a
You know,
surprise, I think.
We really always want to keep the customer, what you're going through as a customer, as an important part of our business, because there's so many ways that you could offer, you know, a restricted lot release, or you can meter them out, or you can take a price increase, or you can hold off till the next month, you can stop selling. You know, there's so many different ways when you are in a seller's market with limited supply. And we feel like we chose the path that at least allowed people to continue to purchase, you know, because that was really important. Nobody wants to be told they can't buy something. You might not love that it was $10,000 less last week, but at least you can still buy it, you know, and waiting in a lot of cases, even with interest rates going up, is not going to do you any favors. And so, you know, that's the balance. But it's not lost on me that, you know, people who waited, you know, maybe can't afford the home anymore. And that's tough, you know, and they might have to do fewer upgrades, or they might have to pick a more affordable home site. But that is kind of the state we're in at Oaktree, is, you know, just more demand than we had supply ready to go.
I think that's a general trend in the South Florida real estate market, especially when it comes to single family homes. I wouldn't say that about condos as much, but when it comes to single family homes, there is a huge demand, and, you know, people are jumping over each other for contracts, and it's a jungle out there right now. So I can definitely see that. And what I often tell people is that homes like Oaktree, you can find them, but you're going to be next to the Everglades. You're going to be in Parkland. You're going to be in Weston. You're going to be in Miramar, really east. It really is a gem. I have to agree with you there. It's one of the few places like it. So speaking of new lot releases, I have a couple of clients that have their eyes on some waterfront lots. When can we expect some more lots to come out at Oaktree?
So we are finishing our land development. So we are expecting to roll them out soon. We'll definitely keep you posted since you're a big fan of what we're doing. Make sure you've got the extra read all about it. But we're working very hard at it and want to make sure we have more home sites for your buyers.
Excellent. Wonderful. What about when will we start to see some of the first homes? I know they have to go through permitting and, all the protocols that are necessary. When do you think we'll start to see the first homes finished?
Very, very soon. So our townhomes are already in production. So we'll start to see the first deliveries come out in about May. We've just received our first single family home permits back. So we are going to have shovels in the ground starting early next week. And we'll be starting homes very, consistently and regularly to make sure that we have lots of activity working. So that being said, our first home buyers will start to be able to move in likely, May, June, July, depending on the pace of the home, the size of their home, because every home has a little bit different of a construction cycle. And of course, any weather events that we'll have to work through.
Okay, wonderful. So very soon here, I'm going to have new neighbors.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because I live so close and I drive by there all the time, I started to see another thing coming up, and I think it's the amenity center, the clubhouse. Could you tell us a little bit about the amenities that will be offered at Oaktree?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be just a beautiful amenity center, definitely superior to anything else we've done in our division down here. A zero edge infinity resort style pool, barefoot bar, pickleball courts, amazing fitness center, playground for kids. It's just going to have a little bit of everything, but the design, kind of that coastal contemporary that people really love, great color palette. It's going to be very grand, very upscale, and something where people are going to be incredibly proud to bring their friends and family to.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Hopefully I'll get invited by somebody.
Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier when we got started that there was also another development close to Oakland Park. It's literally just across the street from us in Lauderdale Lakes, the Cassia Estates. And I wrote an article about it, kind of, letting everybody know there's going to be something else nearby in the neighborhood. Can you tell us about the Cassia Estates project?
Yeah, that's a really exciting project we're excited about. We just put our signage up. We are developing the land. We're going to be looking to start the models here pretty soon and hoping to have our models complete and ready to go to sale in spring of 2021. It's going to be a really exciting single family home community. Most exciting is that we are going to be starting in the upper 300s, low 400s. So buyers will be able to find brand new construction right, in the upper 3s and low 4s, which is pretty much unheard of for Broward County.
It is. And the models I saw, they're completely different than Oaktree, but they're absolutely beautiful. Will that community have an amenity center as well?
Yes, but not to the same level as Oaktree, right? Oaktree is a much larger community, so you will still have a resort style pool and sort of like a cabana clubhouse area.
Okay. And this question just came back to me. Since you mentioned that there's been 47 homes sold, that's a little over 10% of the inventory at Oaktree, which is pretty good. How long do you think sales will go on there?
We're planning for about a 3 to 4 year project. Of course, our bigger projects always depend on the market. When we underwrote this deal, we expected about 4 years in the market. Right now, we thought we would take all year of 2020 to sell about 40 homes. So the fact that we're exceeding that and still have half of November and all of December to sell, we are exceeding our own expectations for people signing up at Oaktree. So I would say somewhere in that 3.5 to 4 years by the time we're complete.
Okay, so kind of on par with Hillcrest, I would say. But you had a lot more homes there. You said there were 600 homes there, and in the 3 or 4 years, you're basically 90% sold, correct?
Yeah, that's about right.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. So is there anything new that we should know about that Pulte has planned for Broward County? Any other new developments besides the ones that we already know about?
Well, you mentioned the enclaves at Woodmont, which is another great community. So what we're really excited about is, in kind of this corridor in Broward County, we've got 3 communities that are very similarly located, but will offer very different floor plan offerings. So it's so nice to have some great comparisons relative to what else is on the market. But we are, we're actively looking for more land. So if you know of any other golf courses that want to, sell us some land, we're ready.
All right. I will keep my eye out for those. There was actually 11 acres right next to my daughter's school, and somebody scooped that up just a few months ago, and it was right near the Fort Lauderdale airport. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, nice.
It would have been a really nice one. All right. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Pulte that we should know about as we welcome you guys into our community?
The one thing I would like to just recommend for anybody who's listening to this is really the best way to stay informed is to sign up for our interest list. You could go to pulte.com, get to Southeast Florida communities, and then will be the first to receive emails when we are opening up a new community, when we start to share our floor plans online, when we start to have grand opening dates. So people always want to know what's coming, because you never know when your circumstances are going to change, and your company is going to shift you up maybe an hour north of where you are now. And so I think it's always just good to be informed of what's coming. And Pulte does a really nice job of communicating starting soon communities. Besides the signs in the ground, we have a really good lead generation drip system, kind of emails that come periodically, and just keeping people, informed. Every time we're offering a special value or there's a move-in ready home, the website is really our best way to get the word out. Besides our sales consultants, we have added sales consultants at Oaktree. We started off with 2 and now we have 3. We added a front desk host person. We are really doing our best to service a very high demand community where we're getting a lot of people coming through the door. And the last thing I want as a sales leader is that you're waiting. You're waiting for somebody to help you and somebody to show you what's included and what's optional. So setting up an appointment ahead of time through our online sales specialists and our team of ladies who help set appointments is probably your best way to go, because then you will have that dedicated time with the sales consultant. And that has really been a key to our success, is making sure that we can have time with you, because when we get time with you, you get even more excited about the home. But when you're self-touring and you're looking through, trying to look through options yourself, it's a more challenging process. So we're doing everything we can to make it easy, make the process as easy as possible. And we understand it's complicated to buy a new home, especially if you don't have that sales person guiding you through the entire way, or an experienced realtor like yourself who knows, how to buy a new home. A lot of people are nervous about buying a new home, and a lot of realtors are nervous about taking clients through to a new home because it's unfamiliar, uncharted territory. But Pulte stays very friendly to our realtor community. We have about 60% of our sales are with a realtor bringing clients in. And although it's not required, you can come in without a realtor. We definitely love our realtor base, and we want to keep everybody informed, and we want to make sure that we're providing the best customer service that we can.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. I was going to shamelessly plug myself, but you did it.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Jeremy, is there anything else you'd like to add about Oaktree or any of the other developments that we could share with everybody?
Yeah, thanks, Desiree. More broadly, what I wanted to just share is that, this South Florida real estate market is very competitive, and, it's not lost on us that we are competing for everybody. We're competing for business, and there's great options out there. But, when you buy a Pulte home, you're not just buying a home. You're not buying 4 walls and a roof. You're buying an amazing home that grows with you. You're buying a home that's built by a team of professionals, that's backed by a world-class warranty. Pulte Group nationally, yes, we're the 3rd largest home builder in the country, but our goal is to be the most respected home builder. So it means we not only want to build the best homes, we want to have the best warranty program. We've got an amazing customer care team. Our sales consultants and everybody that works for us is trained exceptionally well and passionate about what they do. So when you bring your clients, and for those of you that are potentially thinking about Oaktree, you're not just buying a home. You're not just buying a house, you're buying a home. And this is an amazing experience. And our team is just excited and genuinely interested to ensure that, this is going to be an amazing experience for you. And Are we perfect? No. Will we work so hard to make everything right? Absolutely. Will we take great care of you and communicate? 1,000,000%. And that is something that we want to be proud to be able to do, is just give the best experiences. So while you do have options and there are many great builders, you come to us for the experience, and we are going to bend over backwards to give it to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody else appreciated it too. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this evening. I think that we've, covered a lot of information, and that we're going to have some questions that are going to come in. I'll definitely reach out to both of you, but I found everything you said extremely informative, and I think that people in Oakland Park will now appreciate even more the fact that we have Oaktree here. I'm just giddy about the fact that it's the crown jewel of the Pulte Empire, so I think that's wonderful. So thank you both very much for coming on this evening. Maybe in the future we could do something else. Maybe it could be at one of the models. I don't know. But if you're up for it, we're definitely up for it to see the development of Oaktree here in Oakland Park. So thank you both for coming.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you for doing all that you're doing. This is awesome.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. That was our interview with two Pulte representatives, Jeremy Needleman and Bridget Shelfill. I hope that you enjoyed the interview and that you got information about it. If you have any questions about Oaktree, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, have a great evening and stay safe. Bye for now. Bye-bye.